Alright, so hi, my name is Megan Campbell from Turquoise Sky Custom Spirits, and this is part 2 of talking about how bars work and how they're different in the United States. So in the last one we talked about dive bars and restaurants, and now we're getting into specialty places. So I'm a firm believer that when you go somewhere that specializes, you should indulge. That should be what you're getting. When you go to a great Chinese restaurant, you should get great Chinese food. When you go to a great Italian restaurant, you should get great Italian food. The same is true of cocktail bars. So while a rum bar could probably put together a pretty good Manhattan or zombie, or well, they'd definitely put together a good zombie, but they would be able to do that, but it's not the full extent of what they can do. You're not taking advantage of their specialty. So when I say don't go to a craft beer place and ask for a Bud Light, first of all, they probably don't have it because a lot of places like that just like they specialize and they don't want to give you a Bud Light. They can give you something great, it's like it, but they don't want to give you a Bud Light. But mostly it's about living to the fullest and taking advantage of the place that you're in. And it's a little rude, especially when you are at the place that actually makes it. So when you come into the meadery where I work, it's fine. I understand if you're a hard liquor person, I am, or if you don't like what we have. But don't tell us that we should carry Bud Light. Like, oh, well, when are you guys going to get the rest of that stuff? Like, we're not. It's not what we do. It's not what we want to do. It's not what we're going to do. And if you want that, you can go somewhere else. And that's fine. Like, I'm not mad at you. I'm not judging you. I'm a little bit judging you, but I'm very judgmental. So that's fine. Like, that's not on you. That's on me. But don't ask us to change because it's not the place you normally are. You don't go to a steakhouse and order chicken tenders. And if you do, and they don't have chicken tenders, you don't say, well, you guys are obviously a bunch of dumbasses for not having chicken tenders when that's what I want. Like, go to the chicken tenders place. Like, it's for you. There's lots of them. They're everywhere. Go. So, yeah. So basically, that's the style. And you should know what you're looking for. Like, it's amazing to me how often people don't look at the description of the place. Like, go to the website before you get here to sort of know what you're looking at, get a general vibe. But there are certain expectations. If you go to a steakhouse, they probably have a very good wine selection. You should expect to either have wine or have, a nice bourbon drink, a nice scotch, like something that accompanies it. It would be a little odd to ask for, a daiquiri with your porterhouse. Like, that's a little weird. You can do it. They might not have the stuff to do it. They might not be able to make it, but you can ask. I was thinking blended daiquiri, not like a really good actual daiquiri. And then there's places where they're just straight up not going to have it. So like the meadery where I work, we make mead, we serve mead. That's what we do. When you go to a winery or a wine bar, like maybe they'll have a couple bottled beers, but you don't get to be mad when you go somewhere and it's not it's not your local dive bar. You can go to your local dive bar. These are specialty places. So yeah, I would say that's a culture thing. When you walk into a place that is clearly specializing, you should be ready to either leave or to try with an open mind what they have. And in this instance, if you're a new drinker, or even if you're just new to this, it is 100% the right thing to do to ask for help from your server. Like, that is the point. When you find yourself in a tiki bar and you're like, oh shit, I don't know anything about tiki drinks, I've never had any of this before, what do I drink? Talk to your server. Tell them what you normally drink. Ask them, what's your most popular? What's kind of your starter drink? Like, I want to ease into this. What's the pinnacle of whatever you guys serve, or something that I can get used to. So, if you're 22 and you're like, yeah, I've been drinking, I've had whatever drinks and whatever my friends make, and you find yourself in a nice rum bar, they would probably go, okay, well, let's start you off with a real daiquiri with a nice rum. Like, that is a great starter drink to make you understand what they do differently that takes them above and beyond. Or when you come into our place and you say, well, I'm a beer drinker. Like, okay, I've got 6 tasters that I know, you're going to like one of them. Or I guess you might not, but you'll have tasted them and you'll know what we're talking about, and we'll have made an honest effort for you. But if you walk in and you're like, well, I drink Bud Light, that is a part of who I am, deep in my soul, and I don't ever want to try anything else, like, you're not going to have a good time. And that's not on us. It's not on the bartender. You got to come into it with an open mind and be ready for them to kind of gently point out the difference. So, you walk into a wine bar and you're like, oh, well, I really wanted a burger and a beer. It's like, okay, sorry, I don't know how to help you. I can't turn us into that. And usually you'll have, in a party of like 6, 4 people are, all right, cool, let's check it out. Like, let's see what they got. Let's try something new. And it's like the last 2 that are like, no, this is what I wanted. We need to leave. Yeah. And it's, so for those who are starting drinking, in this instance, if you're going to a new place, either have an open mind and be ready for whatever, or look it up. Look it up and call ahead and be like, hey, this is what I drink. We were thinking about coming in. Is this a good spot? Because I can tell you there are times when people walk into our place and I'm like, no, you're not, like, I can't make you happy. I know what you want. I don't have it. I cannot make you happy. And I'm more than happy to send you somewhere else, because maybe you'll come another time. Sometimes you're like, well, I don't want to try something new right now, but I'll try it eventually. And that's okay, as long as you just know what you're getting into and you accept that it's not the bar that needs to change. You either need to have an open mind or go somewhere else. Not that there's not bad bars that need to change a little bit, but that's a different story. So, yeah, when you get into the specialization, that kind of higher order, look it up, please, pretty please, before you go wherever you're going to go, and be willing to try stuff. You never know what you're going to find, and especially if you're open-minded about alcohol, there's such a world of flavor ahead of you. I've had so many people tell me, well, I'm not a gin drinker. I'm like, well, how many gins have you tried? How did you try them? What are you doing before you've just determined that this beverage is inherently not for you? It might be. If you're 50 and you say, I'm not a gin drinker, okay, probably. You've probably done the work. You've put in the effort, and you know you are not a gin drinker. But if you're 22 and you're like, gin is disgusting, like, you have not put in the work. You have not tried enough gins in enough different combinations for me to say, like, all right, I will not try with you. You're done. You're fine. So keep an open mind and research where you're going, basically, and you'll have a good time. And accept it, when you do research it, accept it for what it is, because that's what specialty is about. We are a specialized industry. This is not like a little town in the middle of nowhere where you got to have everything for everybody in one store because you're the only store. Like, in Phoenix, in a city like this, there are tons of specialty places, not just for alcohol, but for everything. And it's okay. It's okay to be that and to want to go to those places and to find yourself in that place unexpectedly and to still have a good time. So thanks for listening to me rant about this subject. It is dear to my heart as someone who is opening a very, very specialty location. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.